Welcome back. Still to come, how you're going to pay for an EV via a charge, even if you don't have an electric vehicle. Certainly that's Chris Bowen's plan. Now to a warning today from the boss of Australia's largest electricity transmission company, Transgrid. CEO Brett Redmond has issued a bit of a cold shower warning, saying Victoria's grid is so stretched that there's a real risk of power failure. Joining me is someone who's been sounding the alarm on energy policy for decades and is in Australia as part of a sellout speaking tour. Robert Bryce is an author, filmmaker and energy expert who spent 3 decades writing about power, politics and innovation. Robert, great to have you back on the program. Welcome to a winter in Australia. I've got to get your comments on the domestic politics of those remarks today from the boss of Transgrid. It doesn't get any more grim than that, I think, in the middle of winter to be told that the lights could go out and the heater go off as well.
It is remarkable, and the timing is amazing that here you have the head of the biggest transmission operator in Australia sounding the alarm. And Peter, I've been in Australia now for almost 2 weeks, and I've been following the headlines, been following the news, and I guess I just wonder, how many warnings do you need before your policymakers wake up and smell the coffee? I mean, it's just remarkable. I thought what Redmond said was, he said that, I'm quoting here, the risk to transition is that people lose confidence in the system. You think? I mean, their power prices are going up dramatically, and remember, it was just last week in Victoria that the state ran through 13% of their gas in just 3 days because the alt energy didn't produce the amount of energy or electricity that they expected, and the thermal plants were down. So again, how many warnings do you need?
What do you make of us as a country, given all the uranium we have, given all the gas we have, given all the coal we have, that we are in this predicament?
You know, Peter, that's what I've been saying. And, you know, I spoke in Perth and in Brisbane, Melbourne. I was spoke in Sydney here last night. And that's been what the message I've been delivering, which is, I mean, truly, what is wrong with you Australians? You have natural resources that are the envy of the rest of the world. You're the Saudi Arabia of the Southern Hemisphere. You export 7 times more coal than you consume, and yet you don't want to burn coal. You have nearly 30% of the world's uranium, and you won't build nuclear reactors. You export 3 times more natural gas in the form of LNG than you consume, and you won't drill for gas. I mean, I just don't get it. I love Australia. I think it's an amazing country, but your policy is just baffling.
So when you put it to the audience like that, and I make the point too, there are Australians that absolutely are struggling to pay their bills, that are making choices about going to bed early because they can't afford to put the heater on in a first world country like this. What sort of feedback are you getting from your audience when you put these facts on the table?
Well, now, look, I'm here as a guest of the Institute of Public Affairs, and of course their audiences are going to be inclined toward my messaging. But, you know, that audience is just part of it. What I've seen in the newspapers and tracking what your own news media is doing a pretty good job of reporting on what's happening here. But the disconnect is between what the news media is reporting, and like I said, I think they're doing a good job, and the Albanese government's insistence on these ideas about net zero. Again, how many warnings do you need? There was a really remarkable story that the ABC published. It was on Tuesday about the problems in Western Australia, pointing out that there's I think it's a 310 megawatt gas plant called Nugen that may shut down because they can't make money because of all the subsidized solar in Western Australia. And this, again, is in Western Australia, where they're planning to shutter all their coal plants by 2029. And short-term electricity prices have gone up 74% just in the last 3 years. I mean, it really is, again, I want the best for Australia. I've got no dog in this fight, but it just is incredible to see how bad the policy is here in such a resource-rich country.
It certainly made headlines here that Labor's Tony Blair, former Prime Minister, obviously of the UK, has come out and said, you know, got to call out net zero. It's not going to happen. We need to walk away from net zero. We see countries around the world doing it. We're certainly getting elements of the Conservative Party here at branch level moving motions. Some of the states are moving motions saying we've got to dump net zero. You know, if you still want to have net zero on the table, you really have to have a conversation about nuclear. We're having, looking overseas, and people are having that conversation and moving towards nuclear in all the other big first world economies, yet we're not having that conversation here in Australia. What do you make of that?
Again, this is one of the other baffling parts of what is happening here. And I'm adamantly pro-nuclear. I've been saying the same thing for more than 15 years. Even if you're not serious about climate change, and that's not a concern for you, natural gas to nuclear is the way forward. Australia is a long way away, even if you repealed your ban on nuclear from deploying new reactors. But you're right. In the U.S., there's a lot of momentum toward new nuclear power. Poland just did a deal and signed an agreement with Westinghouse to build 3 AP1000s. Those are gigawatt-scale reactors. France is moving forward with nuclear. The new German government is indicating they may restart their nuclear reactors. So I see there's a more energy realism in the rest of the world. And unfortunately, it hasn't, for some reason, it hasn't come all the way down under yet.
I hope you have at least shaken some of us up, Robert, because I think it's an incredibly important debate we're going to have in this country over the next few months. Thank you for joining us again. I know a lot of you at home have loved seeing Robert on the program. If you go to robertbryce.substack.com, that's the place you go to get all of your updates. Just go to Substack and look for Robert Bryce.